Have you ever observed people who seem to move through life with unwavering certainty? They navigate the crowd with a quiet assurance, as if the very ground recognizes their presence. You might point out that they aren't necessarily more attractive, wealthier, or stronger than you. Still, there is something about their aura that demands the respect of everyone around them, a force that's felt deeply, even if it's invisible. Meanwhile, you might find yourself wondering, why do I struggle with confidence? Why do I second guess myself when I try to speak? Why do others seem to perceive me as weak? What you may not realize is that your daily actions are gradually diminishing your self-respect and eroding your confidence. Without even being aware, you might be engaging in habits that signal to your subconscious mind that you don't deserve respect. You're about to uncover these habits, but be warned. Knowledge alone isn't enough. You must make a conscious effort to stop them immediately. One of the key mistakes that can subtly erode your confidence is seeking approval from others. Take a moment to observe your actions. How often have you shared an opinion only to retract it because someone disagreed with you? How many times have you laughed at something you didn't find amusing just to avoid feeling left out? How frequently have you watered down your statements or used phrases like maybe instead of being firm with a yes or no? Each time you do this, you lose a bit of yourself. While you may think you're gaining acceptance, the reality is you're showcasing your own insecurity. People who rely on external validation are, in a sense, admitting their lack of self-assurance. The irony is that in seeking approval, you often find the opposite. Your energy gets drained. Those who truly understand their value don't seek praise, fear disagreement, or alter their stance just to make others happy. People tend to respect those who are unafraid to be their true selves, even if it means not everyone will agree with them. Additionally, another habit that makes you come across as weak is over-talking about yourself. You might believe that speaking constantly about your experiences, achievements, and thoughts makes you appear knowledgeable and sophisticated. But the truth is, when you focus so much on yourself, it often signals a defensive posture, as if you're trying to prove something, not just to others, but to yourself as well. Pay close attention to the people around you, and you'll notice that those who constantly talk about themselves often do so because they feel an internal emptiness. They fear being undervalued, and they believe their worth depends on how others perceive them. These individuals tend to exaggerate their views out of fear of rejection and frequently highlight their achievements, worried that others might think they're lacking. They try to convince others of their strength, but in reality, they are first attempting to convince themselves. A truly confident person, however, doesn't need to persuade anyone of anything. They don't need to prove their strength or worth through words because their mere presence speaks volumes. Strong personalities are felt without the need for fanfare. When they do speak, they choose their words carefully, speaking concisely, but with a heavy impact. Every word they utter is deliberate, like an arrow hitting its target with precision. They don't engage in conversation for the sake of it, nor do they seek attention, because they understand that true power lies in quality, not quantity. On the other hand, someone who constantly chatters often has their words fade into oblivion, as if they hadn't said anything at all. People listen out of politeness, but they don't take the words seriously, realizing that those who talk excessively tend to offer little of real substance. What's more troubling is that excessive talking can unintentionally expose one's vulnerabilities. The more you speak, the more others get to analyze your character. Without intending to, you reveal your emotions, what affects you, and your deepest fears. A master of dark psychology doesn't engage in excessive conversation, but he possesses the skill to draw others out. He keeps his cards close to his chest, preferring to listen rather than speak. Every word spoken around him is carefully observed and analyzed. He ensures he's never vulnerable to manipulation, but expertly prompts others to reveal their true selves without them even realizing it. So before sharing personal details, pause and ask yourself, is this information truly necessary? Will it offer any value? Or is it just an attempt to show off? Will remaining silent earn me more respect? Or will I appear feeble if I speak too much? Because strategic silence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a skill that only those with unwavering self-assurance can master. The most detrimental mistake you can make, however, is avoiding confrontation. Think about how often you've been frustrated because someone overstepped their boundaries with you, yet you kept quiet. How many times have you wanted to refuse, but ended up saying yes to avoid discomfort? How often have you been wronged, but smiled and acted as if nothing happened? You might believe you're sidestepping problems, but in reality, you're eroding your self-esteem. When you refuse to stand up for yourself, you're telling your subconscious, I'm weak and I can't face this. Every time you avoid conflict, it becomes a habit until you're unable to defend yourself, even in the smallest of situations. But don't misunderstand me. True strength isn't about yelling, aggression, or pointless conflicts. It's about knowing when to say no, establishing boundaries that no one should cross, remaining firm and present, and stepping into situations with confidence and clarity. People don't respect those who allow themselves to be walked over. They respect those who know when to remain silent and when to set firm boundaries. Another common mistake is over-apologizing. While apologizing when you've made a mistake is admirable, apologizing for everything is harmful. Some people say sorry even when they haven't done anything wrong. They apologize simply for speaking up, for expressing their opinion honestly, or because they weren't available when someone else needed them. However, constant apologizing diminishes your credibility. It can make you seem as if you're afraid of rejection and constantly trying to please others. A confident person only apologizes when they are truly at fault. On the other hand, apologizing for your existence, your thoughts, or for disagreeing with others is often a sign of a lack of self-confidence. If you like the video, feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. We'll see you in the next one.